So we're a little bit more than halfway through section Yud in Halacha Gimel, Likutei Halachos, Hilchos Shabbos, and we're discussing how the idea of Ratzon, of joining the Ratzon, illuminating the 39 types of work during the week by nullifying our work during Shabbat, that join that Ratzon, and that is embodied actually in giving tzedakah, and how this is like Purim. And we're saying like this, it says, V'zeh b'chinas Purim. כי באמס פורים הוא חידוש גדול מאוד, כי אז בפורים מאיר הארה גדולה מאוד מאוד. Because Purim is an amazing chidush, it's an amazing novelty. It's something so different, so unique. There's nothing like it. Every Yom Tov, even though Pesach has its own quality and Shavuot and Sukkot, however, there's something in common. We don't do malacha. We have the meals, we have the davening, specifically for Yom Tov. Purim is a day where we daven, we add an insert, we daven regular. We daven the regular weekday davening. We can do malacha. But every day of the year, it's forbidden to get drunk. On Purim, it's a mitzvah to get drunk. So Purim is an amazing chidush. It's an amazing new thing. It's a novelty. It's something totally unique. Because on Purim, there's an amazing illumination that is a absolutely unimaginably great illumination of light. In the aspect of the illumination of Shabbat and more. As is brought in the Kabbalistic intentions that the Arizal talks about. And even though we have this amazing illumination of the light of Shabbos and more, you would have thought that, so we have to do the same thing. We have to put aside our work. We have to treat it with special sanctity. No, it says on Purim Davka we're allowed to do all the malachas. And it's an amazing thing, apparently. It seems very strange. But in truth, this is the main aspect of the downfall of Haman, who was the embodiment of the pollution that was injected into all of humanity through the primordial snake. Which was the idea of the pagam of malachot, the blemishing of the spiritual quality of the work that we do during the days of the week. Because don't forget, it's from the snake and that whole aspect of what happened that the punishment was that man had to go outside of Gan Eden, of paradise, and had to go to work. It says, through the sweat of your brow you will eat your bread. And that is where the curse came, that there were the 39 types of work didn't just happen and that all our needs are automatically fulfilled. But rather, because of this experience of the constricted consciousness that came into humanity through the whole process of the seduction of the snake to Chava, to Eve, and then Eve's giving it to Adam to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, a mitzvah that was given not to eat from it, that was transgressed. And the Midrash says, by the way, that Hashem's plan was that they were supposed to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil as Shabbat was coming in. But that the fact that they did it early was also orchestrated by Hashem, because we've talked about before and we'll mention now, that in each moment there's a paradoxical influence going on of two different influences simultaneously that we cannot possibly intellectually fathom, and that is that at the same time there's free choice, at the same time there's divine providence, which means that right now I'm choosing to wiggle my finger, and at the same time somehow the wiggling finger is a puppet of the divine will that it should wiggle at this moment. And that if I could see in the orchestration of this huge, immense cosmic dance that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that God is orchestrating, I would see that this finger wiggling is part of an amazing interaction that is so perfect and so complete as to elicit absolute bliss. And if we were to see what's really going on and all the perfection of everything, we'd be blissed out and unable to move. So Hashem hides it. And how did He hide and give us the experience of free choice? Through the process of creating the sin and orchestrating on the side of divine providence, that Hashem orchestrates everything. So that even though it's true that Adam and Chava were guilty of sinning, simultaneously it's also 100% true that God orchestrated the sin. And the implications of that are for a different discussion. But the primordial snake was part of Hashem's orchestration such that there would be a constriction so that we could experience through our activities, through our service, we could experience the illumination of light and appreciate that light. because that wouldn't happen unless we originally went into a constricted consciousness. And that constricted consciousness only happened because of the primordial snake and the whole seduction into the sin of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So this is the Iker Mapelet Haman Zumat Nachash. The main downfall of Haman, again the embodiment of the pollution of the primordial snake, Shehu Pegam Halamated Malachas Shel Mechol, Ki Haman Ratzal Isgaber Al Yisrael Chas V'Shalom Al Yedei Pegam Halamated Malachas Shel Mechol Ulevatel Es Shabbos. Because Haman, what he wanted to do was to get us to be infused in the blemish. Also, the pagam, the lametez malachas, is that when we're involved in these 39 types of work, it's very hard to stay aware of God's presence. It's hard to stay aware of Hashem. And that is also the pollution of the primordial snake. Because we said the snake, the word for snake in Hebrew is nachash, which also means to guess. And there's this experience of, I guess God's somehow involved in this. I guess so. As opposed to knowing with absolute clarity that I am the unfolding of Hashem's will when I am doing work, when I am doing any activity, and that it's part of an amazing process, an amazing unfolding of the greatness of Hashem's creation. If I know that with clarity, that's different than if I'm guessing, if I'm not sure, if I don't, certainly all the more so if a person doesn't know that it's Hashem. And that's the infusion of the poison of the primordial snake. And that's what Haman wanted to do. Haman wanted to get us to bow down to him. He wanted to get us to forget about serving Hashem. He wanted to eliminate the observance of Shabbos. And that's why he talked about. He said that, remember we talked about last time. He said the dat of the king, the ray of the king, the religion of the king. They don't work on every week. One day they don't work. They don't do any work, and they have these holidays. They keep saying it's today's Shabbos, today's Pesach. We don't have to work. Gam ratzah levatel es binyan beis hamikdash. K'mo she'Rabbeinu shesam bebeis hamikdash hayu kol hamalat hazamachas b'kedusha. And what he also wanted to do, if you learn in the Gemara in Maseches Megillah, you see that one of the things that was going on there when they made the party in the first place was their calculation was that they knew about the prophecy that the Beis HaMikdash was going to be destroyed for 70 years, and rebuilt after 70 years, and they made their calculation that the 70 years was done and that Am Yisrael was finished. So they wanted to really to solidify that, and so they created a whole place where they would immerse Am Yisrael in the degradation of their ways and in their idolatry. And Haman specifically and especially wanted to do that as the descendant of Amalek, and Amalek was the sworn enemy of Am Yisrael. And they wanted to nullify the possibility of building the Beis HaMikdash, through which, as we've discussed previously, that we learn out the 39 categories of work that we don't do on Shabbos through the Beis HaMikdash, which there were 39 types of work involved in the building of the Beis HaMikdash. So in nullifying the building of the Beis HaMikdash, there would be again a nullification of the holiness that would normally come or be able to come into the 39 types of work, the 39 Malachot. And those 39 types of work, he says, reminds us of the bechinas of the Tal Oros, the 39 lights. V'hu ratzah levatel es kol hazeh v'nehafcha machshavto hara'a al rosho ki na'aseh hefech. And see, this is what Haman wanted to nullify, those 39 lights coming into the world, the illumination of God, illumination of godliness, and all that was turned around and it fell upon, and his own entire thought and desire came up right back upon his own head. He wanted to hang Am Yisrael, and he himself and his sons were hung, because everything happened Adarabah, the opposite. Hemipilu as Haman legamri, completely wiped out Haman and his family. V'adarabah himshichu hera gedola b'yom zeh b'chol dor v'dor. And not only did he turn that everything get turned around, that Haman wanted to darken the holiness forever, the kedusha, and it turned around to the point where not only did it get not darkened, but it increased an amazing tosefet, an amazing additional shining, illumination of light for every generation from then on. וההארה גדולה ונפלאה כל כך, עד שאפילו כשעושים כל המתנס מלאכס, אף על פי כן אין בהם שום אחיזה לסטרא אחרא חס ושלום. Because this illumination of light became so strong that normally we've talked about in the previous sessions, we've understood that the reason that the 39 types of work is forbidden on Shabbos, and what happens if without that nullification on Shabbos, the 39 types of work pull us into constricted consciousness. That doing that work that tends to pull us in, because the 39 types of work are based in physicality and therefore have a access point through that the other side can access and pull and poison our awareness and give us help or cloud our awareness into constricted consciousness through those 39 types of work. So on Shabbos we put those aside, and for the sake of keeping our awareness on the truth of the desire, the ratzon that we have to come close to and serve Hashem. But on Purim, which is during the days of the week, we specifically had the illumination of light is so strong that all the 39 types of work is permitted, because the holiness of that light is infused. And on Purim, the Sitra Achra has no grasp whatsoever, no access point into the spiritual foundation, the spiritual root of the 39 types of work. Because in on Purim all the 39 types of work are actually infused with and included in the Kedusha of Shabbos. So we see that what he wanted to do is nullify the power of Shabbos, nullify the light, was absolutely and completely 100% turned around on him. So that through the Kedusha of Purim, the absolute holiness of Purim, that we are permitted to do the work, that causes that it's an amazing thing that it actually is the main point of the illumination of the holiness of Shabbos through this observance that we have on the weekday of Purim, that we observe Purim in the way we do with the joyousness and the celebration and the actual physicality, the getting drunk and the eating and the partying that we do, and that illuminates the holiness of Shabbos. That through Purim now we demonstrate and we reveal that we have a power, even in the weekdays, to push away the poison, the pollution of the snake from the 39 types of work, even though that we're doing the 39 types of work during the regular days of the week. Because we draw to those 39 categories of work, the 39 types of work, the holiness, the Kedusha of Shabbos. And in that way, that we see on this amazingly holy day, it's Purim, the holy day, so what's considered the holiest day of the year, Yom Kippurim, is not by accident. Yom Kippurim can be read as Yom Kippurim, a day like Purim. And when you're comparing something to something else, the thing you're comparing it to has the higher level. So it's a day, Yom Kippurim is a day like Purim. What's a day like Purim? That there's so much light drawn down into the world that everything becomes holy. However, Yom Kippurim is like Shabbat, is considered a Shabbat. And we specifically, we divorce ourselves from the physicality of the world. And we don't eat, and we dress in plain clothes. On Purim, we do the opposite. We eat, we drink, we put on costumes, we make lavish garments, and it's a higher level. It's a higher level because we actually raise up everything, and especially we're talking about here the 39 types of work get absolutely raised up into the absolute embodiment of Kedusha, of holiness. And even though we're doing the 39, we're doing regular work, but nevertheless there's an amazing illumination, a deep and powerful illumination of holy light. The aspect of the holiness of Shabbos and more. And through this, we reveal that Hashem is full, that Hashem's presence is full, that the entire world is full of Hashem's presence. And that's the idea of Purim, the idea of Esther, the Queen Esther, is the aspect of Astir, that Hashem hides himself. He puts on a mask. He hides himself in the mask of nature, that it looks like there's nature and that nature has its own laws and its own unfolding of natural laws that just keep happening. And it doesn't look like that there's a brand new creation each moment that Hashem is creating according to His will. But that's what's happening on Purim through our observance of Purim, the way we do it. We illuminate that everything really is God. Everything's fully God, and that's why the Megillah Esther, we don't have the mention of Hashem at all in the Megillah Esther, yet it's one of the books of the Bible. Because that's the whole point of Purim, is to reveal through our activity in the physical world. Purim has the ability to totally illuminate, completely illuminate, that everything is God, that everything is full of Hashem's presence. And it reveals the unity of everything, because Hashem has revealed that He's every place, and that therefore people who have a expanded awareness and people who have a constricted awareness, people who live more affluently, people who live more in a state of poverty, no matter what, it's all one and it's all infused with godliness, that Hashem is everywhere. ועל כן מרבין בסעודה בפורים ונויס נצדק לעניים שכל זה הוא בחינת הרז הרצון שנמשך בחינת כלליוס בין תלמיד בחינת מרדכי ואסתר. And all of this, therefore, on Purim we eat meals, we have a festive feasting, we have there's this giving of tzedakah and giving of gifts. And all of this is the aspect of an illumination of Ratzon, because when we're giving and we're partying, we have an extreme sense of the longing and the desire for the goodness. Everybody's out partying and exchanging gifts and being happy together. And there's this aspect of Ratzon, that we're desirous of each other. And we experience this place of Ratzon, which is rooted in the pinnacle of truth, the actual Ratzon of Hashem that comes down into the world. And then that's the aspect of the all-inclusion, the joining together, the interaction, interrelation, the intertwining and unification of the aspect of son and student, and the aspect of Mordechai and Esther. So may we be zocheh to keep our ratzon, that we should be able to nullify the work on Shabbat, giving tzedakah with tremendous desire and trust and love, and each Purim coming through that place of appreciating and experiencing the great light of Purim. And may our days be infused with the holiness of Purim and Shabbos, to be able to bring godliness into everything we do in all the different types of work. And in so doing, there will be illumination of godliness in everything, and we will soon have the rebuilding of the Beis HaMikdash b'mehera b'yameinu.